online poker strategy review 2 of this site. So let's click it and let's watch it shit happen. It's a school. Jesus Christ. Thanks for the cheesy intro as well.
Blinds posted, cards dealt. Let's have a look at how it looks when playing online. So here's a sample table, TK. It's what we call a 6-max.
This is kind of the way Sky Poker looks. They've improved it slightly, but before it was so terrible. So yeah, this is what it used to look like. But again, the player pool's soft, so let's continue with the video.
Table. It's a 6-seater table.
Yes, 6-max is the current terminology for a 6-seater table.
No shit.
Everything happens in a clockwise direction, if you like, and there's a button there, and that button moves round one spot per person per orbit, and so it just keeps moving round and round, and the small blind and the big blind are immediately in front of it, and the position, which is a very important part of poker we'll come to later, is always based around where the button is, so position moves each hand. So there you go, you get your whole cards, everybody gets dealt out, and then we start again.
Okay, looking at this, can I click this off? Yep. Looking at this, it should just be fold, Jack King raises, somewhat. It's suited, so yeah, let's go for it. To 60. Then everybody else should fold really in this hand, but we'll see how it plays out because they're terrible.
So there we go, each player's been given their cards, and the way this works is before the flop, the first person to act is the first person going anti-clockwise, or clockwise should I say, after the blind. So he's the first person to act, and in this case would be Glassman. He would look at his cards. If he wants to play, he has to make a call or a bet, and if he doesn't, he just folds, and then it goes to SA1 and then Callan, etc. And Glassman decides, because his cards are no good, he doesn't want to play, so that hand has not cost him anything at all.
First mistake. This is what you'll see a lot at Sky Poker, just limps. So yeah, first mistake, and now it invites everybody else into the pot where they shouldn't have even had a say in the matter.
Nothing whatsoever. There you see a call. SA1's got two nice cards there. He doesn't decide to put a bet in. He decides just to call. In other words, he's matched the blinds. So now we have one player decided to come along. He has matched the blinds. He has made a call. Callan 68, his decision now is slightly easier because he's seen what's happened in front of him, and he decides that he's not going to play the hand. He folds. It's free. Doesn't cost him anything. Whether it's in cash poker or tournament poker, you fold for free there. And the airwave round the back here, he's very cool round the back. He's got the button. That's the last person to speak.
Bit of a loose call, but he's got position and it's a limp pot, so why not? Don't get too attached to your hand. As I said, if he would have raised SA1 to 60, Queen 6, fold. 10-8 fold, 8-4 fold. So you can see the mistakes, but do they call it out? You know, this is school, Sky Poker school. Call it out. It's bullshit. Played weak.
Speak after the flop and onwards. Very, very powerful position in poker. He decides just to call, that is to say, match the big blind. And the gentleman in the small blind, Mayhem, I mean, he's put off.
You see, this one mistake hasn't made 4 people enter the pot. It's nuts. Just don't understand the process, and like, people are watching this and thinking, oh, this is how you play poker. So stupid. You can play it any way you like, but the proper way, do you know what I mean? It's just full of bullshit. And the commentators saw the limp and didn't say anything.
Off a blind in already. He's put his small blind in. And so to play the hand, he just needs to put another half a blind in. And so that's him made up, as they say. And now the big blind has already put his big blind in. There's been no pressure, there's been no bet, there's been no raise. So he doesn't have to do anything else. He simply taps the table and says, I check, off we go.
So 4 out of the 6 players at the table are involved in this hand. And after that,
4 out of 6 players then entered the pot. And this is basically how Sky is still to this day. I don't know when this video was posted, but if you play there, you'll understand like the player pool. Just a lot of weak, loose players you can just take apart, really.
that initial round of betting, we have what we call the flop.
Yes, the flop.
Wow, the flop.
3 cards in which we see the first 3 community cards. Now we have 5 community cards in Texas Hold'em Poker. They're in the middle of the table, and they are for everybody to share. You match the 2 cards in your hand with the community cards. And the community cards come in 3 sequences. Firstly, we see the flop, which is 3 cards. Then there's a round of betting. Then we see the turn, round of betting. Then we see the river, round of betting. So we start with the flop. It comes down in the middle of the table, always in the same sequence.
Come on then, let's see the flop.
Always the first person to act will be the small blind. And there it is. That is your flop.
So looking at this hand, the Jack King should bet, but right, the 10-8 should just check call, the 8-4 get out of there, Jack King should bet, and Queen 6 should fold. But we'll see how the action goes, because it's Sky Poker. They just seem to click buttons.
And now, Mayhem, being first to speak here, has the option of either checking or betting.
Yes, and he does so based on the strength of his hand. The strength of his hand is meaningless until he's seen a flop to a degree. Once you see a flop, then the whole value of your hand can change. It can improve or it can worsen. And now Fred Mayhem has an 8 in his hand.
I'd like
a bigger card on the flop. So
I'd like to see a bet of like 50, because there's 4 players in the pool.
it's not very comfortable. And Check has got the same there.
You bet's half
Usually
pot.
named Check. Check.
Which is here or there really, but it just invites, like if one player calls, all the rest are calling basically.
Checks. And so they all have the option now of trying to win the money in the middle. We saw that there were 4 people in the hand with blinds at 10-20. So there was 80 chips in the middle. And SA1 has hit the top pair there, the Jack. And so he says, I'm going to bet this because I think I can win this. I think my hand's the best hand. So he puts the bet in a 40, hoping everybody else folds.
And there we go. So one mistake pre-flop from not raising. It's like a snowball effect. It gathers like snow when it's rolling. So one mistake pre-flop would have cost more and more as you invest in the pot. So we'll see if he wins, because he should have raised pre-flop anyway.
And Airwave says, no, I think my hand might be good. And so he just says, okay, I'm going to call as well. And so on and so forth. So that's what happens when the flop comes down. Somebody tries to win it. Other players with other cunning plans may or may not fold.
So all 4 players who were in the hand pre-flop are still in the hand after the flop. We've seen that round of betting. So what happens next? Well, we get our next community card, and it is called the turn.
Yes, this is the 4th of the community cards, and it goes along to the right of the flop, and it can change the play of the hand.
The Jack King has picked up a flush draw, so I'd like to see a bet of, say, 180 into 240. Again, you have no idea what these are going to do, to be honest. They're just so bad and weak, loose players. So we'll see what happens, but I'd like to see 180, 200 kind of bet.
Substantially. And so now we have a round of betting again in the same sequence as we did on the flop, on the same sequence as previously. We're going to go round in a clockwise direction, and everybody has the option of checking if there's been no action or betting. Once somebody bets, the other players have the right to call, to raise, or to fold. So there it is. It's come 2, and it's checked by the first 2 players because they don't think their hand.
He bets half pot again, and I don't think there's going to be many folds because it's Sky Poker. So when you've got a hand, you want to maximise value, and betting half pot doesn't do that. Just terrible.
Improved, and they don't. They're not sure if they can win this.
6 should get out of there.
SA1. He had the top pair on the flop. That could have changed when the turn card or the 4th card came, because it could have worsened his hand. A bigger card could have come, but it doesn't. It brings a small card. It also brings another spade. So now
he'll
he's got
probably
top
come along
pair
as
and
well.
4 spades. He thinks his hand is very good.
Ah, dearie me.
He bets to increase the amount of money in the middle that he hopes to win. He bets to protect his hand, and he bets because he's trying to win.
It's like watching monkeys click buttons, this is. It's so bad.
That money in the middle. The other 2 players think they've still got a chance, so they both call. So now you see how big the pot has become.
Yeah, we can see that all 4 players are still in. There's just one more card to come, and this is called the River. A lot of speculation about why the final card is called the River, TK.
The River.
I think it's because it can drown your hopes.
Well, I think, with the greatest respect, James, that's complete tosh. But, it is, as you know, you go to America a great deal, it's also known as, in some places, as 5th Street.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, betting 20 into a pot of 720. What are these players thinking? Do you really think your 8's good? Honestly. Jesus Christ. And it's probably going to go call. You watch it.
Or we can have the flop called 4th Street. There's some variety of language, but it's here we see it's come down. It's a 3. Hasn't really changed every hand. Now Mayhem, the first to speak, he is the first one that gets an option of trying to win this hand. He decides to make a bet of 20 because he thinks his hand is the best hand, or that will win the pot for him. He's actually got the second pair here. He's got to get past 3 players behind him. Now the gentleman in second place, confusingly called Check C2, he's got the second pair. He's actually got the worst possible second pair because he has a 4 kicker. And there's a 2 and a 3 on the board.
What did I say?
So
Come on.
hoping that's enough.
It's insane.
And SA1 isn't quite sure where he is. He thinks
Shove.
his hand is good, and he doesn't know what to make of this. Now, if he doesn't match the 20, he has to fold. He can raise if he wishes, but he's a bit confused. So he said, well, I'll just call
Jesus
because that's
Christ.
what they charge me to call. I'll call the 20. And then eventually the gentleman around the back, Airwave, who's got
The 2 commentators have said nothing about this hand. They just talked what they've been doing. Oh my God. It's insane. I'm lost for words at this fucking hand and these players. It's crazy. And this is what it's like on Sky Poker. I shouldn't moan because it's good for me.
the 3rd pair there, the 6. The 3rd pair on the flop, it didn't improve.
Winner!
So they all had a little piece of it there. But a man was SA1 who had most of it. He had the best hand, and so he eventually was able to take all those chips himself. How simple is that?